with all the books and all
Everybody's ready to learn.
the knowledge. Definitely. Okay, Wonder Kids. So today to get started, like we always do, we're gonna do a
With all the
drawing
books and all the
activity. And so everybody grab a piece of paper and something to write, draw, color with. And go ahead and either give us a actual thumbs up or a emoji thumbs up, whichever you prefer, once you're ready. Awesome. Giovanna's ready. All right.
Jesseline has her thumbs up, Valerie.
Okay, we're speedy today. We're ready, prepared.
Yeah.
So we have 5 minutes to draw. What is a biomedical engineer? Okay. What is a biomedical engineer? Okay. And like every week, we're scientists here, so it's completely fine if we don't know what the answer is, but we're just going to guess, right? We're going to guess best we can. No wrong answers if we try our hardest as scientists. So 5 minutes to draw what is a biomedical engineer. The videos are not working today, guys, so I may have to just tell you the countdown, okay? In terms of times. Sorry about that. So time starts now. And
Let me see if I maybe my screen will work for it. Can everybody see my screen?
no, I can't, but
No?
they just be me.
I can see the screen.
Awesome.
Oh, okay. Here, I can play the video. It was playing on mine. There we go.
Yay. Must be my laptop. Maybe
Yay!
the updates that I just did that it forced me to do. I'm wondering if, I don't know. I don't know.
The technology today has been unpredictable, but it's okay. One day it'll get so advanced with AI. All right, guys. So you have about 4 minutes and a half to draw what you believe a biomedical engineer is.
Hi, and we're just doing our drawing activity at the moment. Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good. We're so glad to have you. So we're just drawing at the moment what we think a biomedical engineer is, okay? So just go ahead and draw whatever it is you might know about biomedical engineers.
Oh, I love your background. It's so amazing. That's all the science,
Yeah.
chemistry, biology. Ooh, a little bit of nuclear science. I see a radiation sign there. And it looks amazing. I love your background. All right, guys. So we're approaching the 2-minute mark. And if you guys don't know exactly what biomedical engineer is, you can always make a guess, make a prediction. A lot of scientists make amazing prediction.
Do-do-do-do.
Do-do-do-do-do.
1 minute left, Wonder Kids. We'll have a couple of people share or we jump into today's lesson. Twenty seconds left. Last final details to all of your Picasso work of art.
All
Boom.
right. Who would like to share what they think a biomedical engineer is? Zoe?
I think a biomedical engineer is a special kind of engineer who helps people by combining science and technology to improve healthcare.
Very good.
Yeah, that's almost like a book definition. Wow. Do you draw what a biomedical engineer is? No? It's okay. With that explanation, that was amazing. I don't think you need a drawing for that. Let's see. Sophia?
A biomedical engineer is, since bio is the meaning of life and medical is the meaning of care. I drew like a doctor helping an animal, and if you could look closely, it's a prosthetic leg, and since he made it just for him because he was born without a leg.
Wow.
Yeah, that's another amazing definition. Yeah. Thank you, Chris, are doing awesome. Yeah. Let's see.
Oh,
Allison?
I think what biomedical engineer is like someone that like cares or like they study like about health and but if it's not, then by looking at what we're gonna do for the activity, I think it probably means like they probably see if a candy is good or not, and they see what is bad or good about the candy.
Very good.
very, very good. I am super duper impressed with all of the Wonder Kids and those fantastic answers. I think Miss Andrea may have dropped off the call, but that's completely fine because I'm going to share my screen and we're going to talk a little bit more about what is biomedical engineering. And so some of you were bang on with your answers. Biomedical engineers are scientists that are called engineers that work very hard to develop new medical machines and lab techniques. Okay. And Zoe said it, it's the intersection of science and technology and medical and healthcare. Okay. And why is it important that biomedical engineers do this work? And it's important because they help design and create new machines that can help fight off diseases and can also help to diagnose different diseases such as cancer, right? You guys have all learned about cancer. And so biomedical engineers can be really important in coming up with new ways to try and diagnose diseases like cancer. Okay. And here are some examples of things that have been made by biomedical engineers. And somebody already mentioned, I think Sophia mentioned, she had for her dog a prosthetic leg because they were born with no leg. So that's an example of something that has been created or designed by a biomedical engineer, right, to help humans, animals live normal lives, right? They can still walk and use their arms regularly. Another example would be when you guys were babies and you were in your mother's stomach, you would have had your mother would have had an ultrasound done so they can see you and check that you're nice and healthy. And that's called an ultrasound. You can see an example of an image from an ultrasound there, which is very cool. Biomedical engineers responsible for that. Pretty cool, right? Another example are medical devices. So here we have an MRI machine. So if we want to see inside somebody's body and figure out what might be making them sick, right? We might use an MRI machine, and that might help us to diagnose somebody and figure out this is what's making them sick, okay? And we wouldn't have healthcare or medicine or doctors without biomedical engineers. They're really important in helping doctors and the healthcare system do everything they need to do to keep people healthy. So biomedical engineers are really, really, really important, and all the work they do is really important. So Miss Andrea,
Yeah, they work with so many things.
they do. Miss Andrea, what are some important things, some important words that you need to know as a biomedical engineer?
Well, the very super important word is going to be a nanoparticle. Can anybody guess what a nanoparticle is? What do you guys think a nanoparticle could do?
Do you think we could break down the word? Maybe start with nano.
Yes. Nano means something very, very tiny. Oh, yeah. Giovanna, do you have a guess?
Yeah, I think, yeah, I was gonna say something very small for nano and particle. Isn't it like, I don't know how to explain. Isn't that like a particle?
Yeah, like a particle is something, a piece of something. It's very, very small. So, oh, we have a lot of guesses. Yep. Ariana and Zelda. Oh, wait, it's Ariana. Go ahead, Ariana.
So I think a nanoparticle is like a small area of a part.
Yeah, like a small area or part. Yeah. And I know.
I think a nanoparticle is like a piece of technology to like build something, a piece of it.
Yeah, you guys are all thinking amazing, just like biomedical engineers. So I know that was a super hard question. I really challenged you guys because I believe in y'all. And the thing is, nanoparticle is a very, um, very tiny little piece, right? And it's made out of all different things. Metals, it could be made out of ceramic or even fat, like the fat you see on your steak. But the thing that matters about this is that a lot of biomedical engineers use nanoparticles, these very tiny things smaller than a grain of rice, to find sick cells like cancer cells. And what they do is the nanoparticle latches onto these cells saying, hey, the cell's over here, it's over here. And the way they let scientists know that they found a cancer cell is through another word. that's called fluorescence. So fluorescence is when you glow in the dark. So imagine like a glow stick. Like you can see it right through the dark and it shines like a bright green, right? So these little bits that are called nanoparticles, when they latch on to a cancer cell, they grab it on and they glow in the dark. So what happens is biomedical engineers can be like, oh, I can't see the cancer cells. Where are they? And the nanoparticles will be like, oh, it's over here. It's over here. And it'll glow in the dark. So it's easier to find it. So let's watch a video of a very fun experiment with fluorescence. You see the beaker had no color originally, right? And then suddenly, it's like magic. It's glowing. It's fluorescing. Yeah, it's fluorescing just like nanoparticles. And that's what makes nanoparticles so special.
And so, with that being said, Wonder Kids, we've given you a brief introduction to what is biomedical engineering. You guys already had a great idea of the kinds of things that biomedical engineers do. And so we thought, let's do one better. We'll bring a real biomedical engineer to come and talk to you guys. I know, Zoe, I feel the same. Honestly, it's so exciting. And that is Professor Z, who is here to talk to you today about all of the cool work that they do in their lab as a biomedical engineer.
Well, thank you for that introduction, and thank you for having me. I'm very excited to meet all of you guys and share a little bit about my journey. So I wanted to start off by introducing myself. Next slide. I grew up in a really small town in Texas, a really big state, really small town. And right there on the other side of that line is Mexico. So Mexico is right there, really close to where we are. And my family all came from Mexico, actually. And then they crossed over and landed in Texas. And then that's where our family decided to live. But yeah, my love for science actually started when I was just in seventh grade, so not too much older than you guys. And I actually participated in my junior high science fair. I really loved science. And this actually helped give me the confidence to make me feel like, oh, you know what? I'm pretty good at science. And I got a first place trophy at the science fair. And my science project for the science fair was determining what affects the browning of apples. Has anybody actually had an apple and bit it and then just left it and then it turns brown after a while, right? Well, that's because of something called oxidation. And apples, different kinds of apples, will actually turn brown at different times depending on how they're interacting with the air around them. So next slide. So my mom and I actually went to the grocery store and bought all sorts of different kinds of apples, green apples, red apples, pink apples, and we cut them up so that we could do experiments to see what affects the browning of apples. So I had my control group. Control group in science usually means a group where you just leave it alone, right? You use it as a control. So I cut the apples and left them alone. I didn't do anything to them. But then I had experimental groups where I actually did something to the apples. So in some of the groups, I added vinegar to the apples to see how that would affect the browning. And other ones, I added lemon juice to see how it would affect the browning. And then another group, I would just have them in water. And you can see the vinegar actually made the apples turn brown really fast. And then the lemon actually prevented the browning of the apples. And that's all having to do with chemistry. So that was really fun. And that's where my love for science started. And I wanted to share that with you. After I was in junior high, And I went through high school. I then graduated and then went to college. But in order to go to college, I had to go far away because there wasn't a lot of colleges in my hometown because it was really small. So I went to a big city nearby, which was San Antonio, and it was about 4 hours driving north. And they had this really cool program called nuclear medicine, in the nuclear medicine science. And I thought, wow, that sounds really cool, but it sounds kind of dangerous too, right? Nuclear kind of sounds dangerous. Oh, Mariana, do you have a question?
I actually went to Texas and I went to San Antonio, and I believe that's the capital of Texas, right?
It's actually really close to the capital of Texas. It used to be the capital of Texas a long time ago, but then Austin is now the capital of Texas. So you're right. It used to be the capital, but not anymore. But it's really close. It's about an hour away. So that's really cool that you've been there. That's really neat. I had an opportunity to study nuclear medicine, and what nuclear medicine is it instead of just like your typical x-rays that maybe many of you have had how many have had x-rays before? Yeah? Okay. Lots of people had x-rays before, right? Sometimes you use x-rays to look at broken bones, right? So it's a really good imaging technique to look at structure. Are the bones actually intact? Are they broken? But what about if there's something happening at the cellular level that you can't see with an x-ray? Well, nuclear medicine imaging actually you get to inject radioactive materials into patients, and the radioactive material is going to localize to a specific area based on what you're trying to find. So if I'm trying to find cancer, it's going to go and find the cancer. So like in this scan here on the right-hand side, you see the black areas down here, those are areas of cancer. So they're going to glow for me, but I can't see the cancer in the left-hand picture because it looks normal. So I need something like a radioactive material to help me find the cancer. Slide. So after I graduated from college, I ended up going to California. I moved to California for the first time, which was a really big change for me. And it was really exciting. I got to go to Stanford University and I got to train there for a little bit. And I became a scientist who did a lot of imaging experiments. And then after I went from Palo Alto, which is where Stanford is, that's Northern California, I came down to Southern California. And that was really cool because it happened to be really close by to my favorite place, Disneyland. Has anybody been to Disneyland before? Yeah, I totally love Disneyland and I can't get enough of it. And that was one of the reasons why I moved to Los Angeles so I could be closer to Disneyland. How awesome is that, huh? So I decided to open up my own lab here at University of Southern California, and I have a bunch of students who are here with me, and I got to take them all to Disneyland with me. How cool is that? So the next slide shows me enjoying Disneyland with all my students. I got to meet Mickey Mouse, and all of my students got to meet Mickey Mouse, and we got to go on rides like the teacups, and we had like so much fun. So that's what we got to do. But with regards to science, what we do in the lab is we're trying to detect cancer because cancer is a really bad disease that affects a lot of people and it can be harmful. So we're trying to detect cancer early because if you detect it early, then it's more easy to cure. That's just the way cancer works. So you detect it early, then you can cure it better. We also are trying to help give doctors, like surgeons, who are actually going in and trying to find the cancer and take it out of the body. We're trying to give them imaging tools to help find where the cancer is in the body. So we need something that maybe glows, or we can paint the cancer so that the surgeons know where the cancer is and take the cancer out, but leave all the normal cells, right? Next slide. So there's all sorts of different really cool imaging techniques. Some of them are better at looking at structural information like broken bones. And then other types of imaging like nuclear medicine imaging are really good at helping find cancer. So next slide here. So this is a scan that shows all these little black dots everywhere. And those black dots are actually where the cancer is. So a patient was injected with a radioactive material. Radioactive material specifically goes and finds areas of cancer and then creates this radioactive signal that we can detect and paint black. So all the black areas here are where cancer is. And you wouldn't be able to see that in an X-ray image. So we have to use something else called nuclear medicine to do that. Next slide. Now, ultrasound imaging is something all of you guys have had, and you may not know this, but you've all had ultrasound, but before you were born. So your mommies actually went into the doctor to make sure that you were growing the right way, and they would use ultrasound to image you. So you've all had ultrasound. Do you know what people used to do before imaging techniques actually came about? Let's say you have a tummy ache and you're like, oh, I have something that's bothering me in my tummy and it's not going away, it's not going away. Well, back in the day, like 200 or 300 years ago, before they had imaging, they actually would go in and open you up with a knife and like open you up to see what was going on in there. Now, thank God, we don't have to do that. We have all these really great imaging tools that let us see through the body without having to go and open you up inside the body. But yeah, things have come a long way because of biomedical engineers have developed all these really great imaging tools. And the way that we're developing imaging tools is by using nanoparticles. And nanoparticles, as previously discussed, with these little tiny itty bitty particles that are so small that you can't see them with the human eye. You have to actually use microscopes, very sophisticated microscopes in order to see them. Next slide. And in case you guys didn't know, if you all had a COVID vaccine, you probably got a dose of nanoparticles because nanoparticles were actually used to protect the vaccine to be able to deliver it to the cells effectively. Otherwise, the vaccine would disassemble and break up and it wouldn't be effective. It wouldn't work inside your body. So the nanoparticles are a little delivery package that's delivering the vaccine to your cells so that you can actually fight off these diseases. Next slide. And one of the reasons people use nanoparticles is because their size is perfect for interacting with cellular targets. So the nanoparticle is the perfect size to interact with cells. Why? Because you can get a lot of nanoparticles delivered to cells. And one of the activities that you're going to do later is going to help you understand the size difference between a cell and a nanoparticle. And one of the things that we did one year, next slide, was we actually celebrated Nano Day, which is, by the way, October 9th is Nano Day because 10 to the negative 9 is what the definition of a nanometer is. And in order to help people understand the difference between what a cell is, like a cancer cell, and what a nanoparticle is, the size difference, we made donuts. We had these donuts, and then we iced them, and then we put sprinkles, you know, the little rainbow sprinkles. We put sprinkles all over the donuts, and the sprinkle is the size of a nanoparticle. The donut represents the size of a cancer cell. So you can imagine just how many nanoparticles we can sprinkle onto the cancer cell so that we could find them better, so we can detect them better. So that's an activity we're going to do later today with pretend donuts because we couldn't send you real donuts, unfortunately. But yeah, nanoparticles are great because you can put things on the inside of them to protect whatever you're trying to deliver, but you can also decorate the outside of the nanoparticle so that you can deliver it to something specific, like a cancer cell. Next slide. Another great thing about nanoparticles is that they're so small that if you were to inject them into the blood vessels, that they can actually sneak through the vessels and into the tumor cells, and they can also be retained in the tumor cells. So they're the perfect size to sneak through from the vessels into the tumor cells. Next slide. So this made us think, how can we use nanoparticles so that we can actually deliver them to cancer cells and paint the cancer cells more effectively. And I got some inspiration on how to do this from my time when I was at Pixar. And everybody know Pixar? Heard of Pixar before? Right? That's the Disney company that makes Toy Story and Inside Out and Coco and Monsters Inc. and Cars and all these great things. Next slide. Well, I had a chance to actually go inside the studio, which was super cool, because I'm also, one of my hobbies is art and animation. Since I'm a huge Disney fan, I love all this stuff. So I had an opportunity to study with some animators, some Pixar animators, the people who actually made these movies. I got to study with them, and I got to go inside the campus. Next slide. And look at all these really cool things that are inside the studio. There's all these fun characters everywhere and really fun little, icons. Next slide. And these were some of my teachers who were actually responsible for working on films like Coco and Monsters Inc. and Cars. And there's Buzz and Woody right there in the background. And so we were studying all sorts of Disney animators at the time. So I was taking a class with these Pixar animators, and they were teaching me about all these really great old Disney animators. And one of my favorite Disney animators is, next slide, Mary Blair. She was the very first woman to actually be a Disney animator. And so I was really inspired by her because she was responsible for creating characters, next slide, like Cinderella, next slide, Peter Pan, next slide, Alice in Wonderland, that's my favorite, next slide. And she was also responsible for creating the whole ride of Small World at Disneyland. Has anybody been on Small World before? Yeah, she was the one who actually created it. And so I noticed in all of her art that she has really beautiful, bright colors. See all these colors? And I thought maybe we could use some of these colors to help find cancer. And so I started thinking about colors that we are exposed to as humans on a daily basis. Next slide. And I started thinking about things like tattooing. People are injecting inks into their skin. People are eating colorful candies like M&Ms and Skittles and cakes. And people are also putting makeup on their face of different colors and painting their nails different colors. So I thought it would be cool to see if these actual pigments, dyes and pigments had special properties that we could use to image cancer. Next slide. And so I went to a local tattoo artist in San Francisco and asked him if he could give me some of his tattooing so that I could test them in my lab to see if they had really cool imaging properties. Could we use some of these paints to actually detect cancer with? Next slide. And what we found was these paints had really neat spectral signatures, and you can see like the peaks in red look very different from the peaks in orange, and those look different from the peaks in yellow, and the yellow looks different from the green. And so we can actually separate the peaks and use them as ways to actually detect cancer. So this was really cool. Next slide. And some of them had glowing properties like fluorescence, which was really neat because we could actually shine light on them and then they could glow for us and we could find them really easily in the body. So, next slide. We decided to take some of these dyes and put them inside our nanoparticle and then have the nanoparticle find the cancer for us after we injected it into the body. And that was really fun because we got to use all these things that were already being, we're eating Cheetos and Skittles and all sorts of things. And we could use those things and put them inside nanoparticles, deliver them into the body, and then they'll go to the cancer cells passively because they have the properties to sneak into the tumors from the blood vessels. Next slide. And so this is a really cool video that actually allows us to see our nanoparticles as they're traveling in the blood vessels in an actual living subject. So we have all these little green spots all over the place. Those are our green nanoparticles. And I think Kelsey's going to open it up and show you the video.
Gonna do it on
Here we go. Here we go. This works.
Way better on.
But this is a very special microscope that we have in the lab that allows us to see the nanoparticles traveling through the blood vessels. And you can see them, right? It's really cool. But normally you wouldn't be able to see them with just your eyes. You have to have a so this is what we're working on in our lab. And I'm happy to take any questions if you have any questions for me about what it is that we do. But thank you for listening to me and letting me share my research with you. Do we have any questions?
I know you guys have questions.
I know you have a question, right?
So when you use the nanoparticle, do you put like a little camera or anything in there to like see if there's like any cancer in the body?
That's a really good question. So the camera that we're using is outside the body, and it sends a signal to the camera so that it can be detected. So the patient is lying on a table, and then we have the camera outside the body to see where the signal is coming from. And I have a really cool, so I'm going to put my gloves on because I'm going to protect myself. I have a sample here that I want to show you so that you can see what we mean. So this is a tube of nanoparticles that we've made in our lab. And the tube, you can see it's very bright green, right? Very bright green. But when I shine light on it, so I have a flashlight here that has UV light. When I shine light on it, it glows really, really bright. See that? Yeah. And then I turn it on and it glows really bright. So that's what we can actually use to help the surgeons find the cancer because it'll glow for them and you can see it. Allison? Oh, sorry.
Very cool.
Allison?
So like when you use the glowing stuff, is there like a specific color you have to use, or you can just use any color?
Oh, I love that question. We're actually trying to make multiple colors so that we can have the ability to do detect multiple things at the same time. So I like that question. That's perfect. So we can do multiple colors. Yeah.
How cool. Get the questions, Wonderkids? Those are two great questions to start with.
Yeah.
No worries if not. We have an activity for us to do now anyway. And so, Giovanna, do you want to ask your question before we do the activity?
Yes. How many years did it take you to like be a what's it called? I can't say it.
A biomedical engineer?
Yeah, biomedical engineer.
Good.
Very good. Very good. Well, let's see. I became a biomedical engineer after when I turned 26, when I turned 26 years old. And it took me 4 years of college. So, you guys are in elementary, right? Elementary school. And then there's junior high, right? And then there's high school. And after high school, some people go to college. And then after college, you can go to graduate school, which is after 4 years of college. And so graduate school, you can study a specific, like very specific type of science. And so that took me another 5 years. And it sounds like a lot because you guys have only been alive for what, like 10 years? Yeah, you guys have only been alive for 10 years, so it sounds like a lot of time. But when you get older, it's not that bad. So it can take a lot of time. That's a really good question. It can take a lot of time. But I was 26 years old when I became a biomedical engineer.
Awesome. It's definitely worth it because you're an awesome scientist now. So all of that time, I'm
Yep.
sure was worth it.
Yeah, and I get to have so many different kinds of students. I have students who are teenagers. I have students who are even older, like in their 20s and 30s even. And yeah, and then I get to interact with students like you, which is really fun and very fulfilling. It gives me a lot of satisfaction, a lot of pleasure to be able to share what we do with you. So thank you for listening.
Well, we're super glad to have you. So thank you for joining us. Okay, guys, we're going to do an activity now. So go ahead and grab a piece of paper if you have one, as well as your biomedical engineering bag, which should look like this. Yeah, many of you already have it, so good job.
Yep. And you also want your everyday baggie.
That you do.
All right, once everybody has their biomedical engineering bag, their everyday bag, and their paper, give a big thumbs up. Okay, awesome. I see 1 thumbs up, 2 thumbs up, 3 thumbs up. All right, guys. So let's get started. The first thing we're gonna do is, since we can't use a real donut, we're gonna be even better. We're gonna be like Pixar. We're gonna draw our very own donut. So I have a video of myself drawing a donut too, and you guys can use that as an example. But you can draw the donut whatever color you want. You can add hearts to your donut if you want.
We're gonna do this. We can. Let's see if this works. Okay, so here's the video. Hoping you guys can see that.
Yep.
Yeah, awesome. Just an example. You guys can get as creative as you want and draw your donut however you like, but here's an example of an amazing one that Miss Andrea made. And you can color with whatever colors you like. But here's just an example. So I'll keep that on a loop so you guys can have some inspiration. But yeah, Miss
And
Andrea.
I just drew another donut.
You drew another donut?
You have to work on it's gonna.
Yep.
All right, guys. So once you guys drew all your donuts, give a big thumbs up. So many donuts. It reminds me of the Simpsons. I love that donut.
Yeah.
I'd like to eat a donut right now.
I
Actually.
know, especially right now. It's like that afternoon, you need something right before dinner.
Yeah. Yeah. Next time you guys have a donut, make sure to do this experiment again on a real donut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that Ariana has the gloves on in the car. I love that.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, I almost forgot about the gloves. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta use the gloves when we take out the nanoparticles.
Mm-hmm. All right, that'll be our next step. It's gonna be PPE.
Remember, we learned about PPE in our introductory week, and PPE stands for personal protective equipment, and it helps to keep us
Yep.
safe in the lab.
So when we're doing dangerous experiments, like today, we're gonna have to wear PPE. So one of the PPEs we made was these paper goggles. So if you guys have your paper goggles, you can also bring out your paper goggles. I have some real ones right here. Oh, Miss Kelsey has her paper goggles.
Yep.
Those are pretty tiny. You look like a minion.
I know I do, yeah. I should have maybe made some adult-sized ones, but it's okay.
I may have printed them off for kid size, but they look amazing. And another PPE here is the lab coat. Lab coat and also gloves. So we're going to talk about gloves once everybody has their donuts ready. Oh, I see Allison's donut.
Oh,
Ooh,
Sophia.
Oh,
pretty.
it's amazing.
I love that one.
Sophia's donut is amazing too.
Oh, wow. Sophia's got real PPE.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Serious. Super
And then
serious.
Allison also has her PPE on. Those are amazing goggles. Oh, I see Ariana's donut too. Oh, Ariana's amazing donut. All right, guys, how do you feel? Do you need one more minute for the donut drawing? Yeah, like a minute more? Okay. All right, guys. So, yeah, Ariana, you had a question? Okay, so once you guys are done with the donut, we need to be safe because we're going to be working with nanoparticles, our very own
I love it,
nanoparticles.
Valerie.
So we're gonna put on gloves.
I don't have my equipment because I'm in a.
Oh no. It's okay. We have safe dyes in the nanoparticles for today. So you'll be okay.
Yeah.
But next time you have to wear your lab equipment for
So
your safety.
I'm allergic to M&M's.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's okay.
oh
Well, don't
Yeah.
eat them.
yeah.
Yes. No, don't eat them.
You're not going to need them. You're not going to need them for next week.
Mm-mm.
Ooh, I like that donut. With the purple icing? Nice. Okay. Are we going to take a picture with our gloves and donuts?
I like that.
Yes, okay. Yeah, that's an amazing idea. Everybody, let's hold up our donuts and take a picture together.
Let's do it. I love that idea. On the count of 3, ready? 1, 2, 3, cheese. Oh, that's so cute. Yes.
All right, guys, now we're all
job.
geared up and we have our donuts ready. So we're gonna take out our nanoparticles, which are gonna be sprinkled for today. So you're gonna find them inside of a centrifuge tube, a little tube, and it's gonna be in our biomedical engineering baggie. And they look just like this. Yes, Giovanna?
Do we have to cut their donut out or?
No, you don't have to
Oh,
cut
no,
it out.
it's fine.
I see people are sneaking some into their mouths.
Don't do that with the nanoparticles. You don't do it. You'll be glowing in the dark.
They are edible nanoparticles.
It'll be fine. We have plenty left, so
Yeah,
do save some though for the experiment.
have fun with it.
All right, guys, so we're gonna get a little bit of our nanoparticles and we're gonna sprinkle them onto our donut.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is gonna
Don't spill a lot of them, but
Yeah, but this is going to help you see the difference between a nanoparticle size and a cancer cell size. So your donut is your cancer cell and your nanoparticles are your sprinkles. And finally, you'll get to understand the difference between the size of a nanoparticle and the size of a cancer cell. We can put lots of nanoparticles on the cancer cell, lots of room on the donut, right? For the for the nanoparticles.
Yes, Zoe, you had a question?
I'm also allergic to sprinkles.
Well, you're not going to eat them.
Oh,
You can just put them in your gloved hand and then just put them on there.
Okay.
Don't expose your skin to them, but and don't eat them.
actually, that's an amazing example of why we wear PPE. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah, it's keeping you safe from the sprinkles. So
But it's just,
don't eat any
yeah.
of the sprinkles if you're allergic, Zoe.
Yeah, do not eat anything. That's okay. You can throw them away. You can throw them away. You don't
Yeah.
have to put them back in your tube. It's just an
Yeah. You can
exercise
throw
to
out the
help.
sprinkles, yeah.
Yeah, it's just an exercise to help you see the size difference between a nanoparticle and a cancer cell. Now you can see it right in front of your face, right there. And you can
Yeah,
get
you can keep the
lots of
sorry.
nanoparticles on the donut.
Mhm. You can keep the centrifuge tube too after. Just throw away the sprinkles.
Yeah. You like that? Making sounds?
Yeah, so like Dr. Z said, so the donut is your cancer cell, and the nanoparticles are going to be the sprinkles. And what the nanoparticles are doing is they're going all the way into the cancer cell and they're holding on, right? And the next step that's going to happen is they're going to glow and they're going to say the cancer cell's over here. So this is what happens in your body when biomedical engineers put nanocells, these little pieces called nanocells, these little itty bitty pieces, kind of like the sprinkles, they go all the way into where they find a cancer cell. They latch on and they fluoresce. So they glow in the dark. And that's how you know, hey, there's something going over there. So it must be cancer cells. All
Yep.
right, guys, it's the last 5 minutes. Do you guys have any questions for Dr. Z?
Allison?
Yep.
So like when we leave, do we save the donut? And also, can we also eat the sprinkles?
You can eat the sprinkles if you're not allergic to the sprinkles. If you're allergic to sprinkles, don't eat the sprinkles. I'm very sorry, Zoe.
Yeah, sorry about that. And you can save the donut if you'd like. We're going to be talking more about biomedical engineering on Thursday. So it might come in handy because we're going to keep talking about nanoparticles. And so it's good to keep that visual representation of what the difference is between a cancer cell in terms of size compared to a nanoparticle. So it'd be good to save it. Maybe just fold it up and put it inside of your packet, your Wonderkids packet, Alison, maybe. Sound good?
Yeah.
Any more questions? I think Jasleen has a question while she munches on the nanoparticles.
Do we need it next week?
You don't need it for Thursday now, but it'd be good if you want to save it. It's up to you. Are you talking about the sprinkles? You're asking if you can eat them all. Got it. Okay. You won't need them. You can eat them all. Yeah. But maybe just save a few, just so you can keep that visual of what it looks like, what a nanoparticle looks like in comparison to your donut, your cancer cell. Allison's like, I'm not saving any of them. Got it. Okay. Okay, Sophia's already got rid of all of them. Got it. Okay, any more questions, guys? We're into the last few minutes of Wonderkids today.
Giovanna?
What about the other candy?
Oh, That's actually going to be for Thursday. So we're going to go with part 2 of biomedical engineering. Don't eat the candy yet. We're going to be working with it on Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, it's not quite Halloween yet. Getting there, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, we're doing something amazing with it on Thursday. You guys get excited.
Yeah. So Prof Z and Andrea have come up with a really cool activity for you guys. So, okay, Jasleen, did you have another question or you just didn't lower your hand? Okay, got you. All right, guys, this might be the only opportunity for a little bit that you get to ask Professor Z some questions. So speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay,
Don't
so
eat the marshmallows. Those
yes,
are for
please.
next time.
Who's opened the marshmallows? Who's opened them?
Save
Yeah,
them for next time.
yeah. Sophia, go ahead. Sophia, no, you need those. If you've eaten one, that's fine, but save the rest.
Yeah, save the rest.
What
Go
do
ahead.
we need them for?
It's a surprise for Thursday.
You guys are usually really good at not eating the resources ahead of time. What's going on? What's going on?
Including this?
It's the marshmallows.
Yep.
Yes, we'll need all those for on Thursday. It's the marshmallows. They're too tempting. Yes, I'll give you guys a hint. So biomedical engineers make also machines. So we might have something to do with that on Thursday with candy. So
Yeah, and fluorescence. It's going to be really
that's
cool.
all the hint I'll give.
Fluorescence. You're going to get to see it firsthand.
Jasleen, did you have another question?
Do we need both fruit roll-ups?
Yes, you do. Nobody is allowed to eat anything. Nobody is allowed to eat anything. Yeah, Sophia, I'm looking at you. Close those marshmallows. Yup. Oh, you guys are hilarious. Okay, so can we all say a big, big thank you to to Professor Z? Because I think that she was pretty awesome, honestly. I don't know about
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and so awesome job today. Super proud of all of you guys. And we're going to be doing more biomedical engineering on Thursday. So save your snacks. You will be rewarded for your restraint. I promise. And we'll see you for more science on Thursday. How about that?
Sounds great.
Awesome. You guys are amazing. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you Thursday.
Nice meeting you all.
Bye. Thank
All right, have a
you.
nice Tuesday, Wonder Kids.
This
Bye-bye.
is not very happy since I can't eat the candy. Is it over? I do have a cake right here.
It's okay, I promise. It'll be lots of
Is
fun
that a
on
picture?
Thursday.
Is that a picture of your biomedical engineer?
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye. Ready?
Bye, Anna.
Well, thank
Oh, I didn't
you.
expect for them to eat the candy this time.
I couldn't resist.
Yeah,
That's the first time it's ever happened. We had Oreos, yeah.
It was too tempting. It was too delicious tempting.
maybe it was just too much in one bag. I don't know. Maybe because they were good last semester, right? We had Oreo. Yeah, we had a whole
Yeah.
pack of
We had
Oreos.
Oreos and sour gummy strips, and yeah, chicken dragony. Oh, well, thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank you so much
for
for coming
organizing.
today, and
Thank you for inviting me, and nice meeting you, Kelsey.
Super nice. Thank you for all of the hard work that Andrea and you have put into this lesson. It was awesome. I
It was
loved it.
super fun. We had a good time. Thank you so much. And let me know if you end up needing anything else later down the road.
Oh,
Yes, thank you so much for coming today, taking time out of your busy schedule as a professor too. And
oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it was fun. It was a good departure, a good break, mental break.
We will make a short recap video that will go on our YouTube channel. So we'll send that over to you. And then also we'll send over at the end of the semester a really, really brief survey, like a few questions, optional kind of, if you want to elaborate on answers, just to kind of get a gauge as to how your experience was with us. But other than that, yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, have a good rest of the week.
You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
yeah, have a great Tuesday.
You too.
Okay, awesome. Good job, Andrea. I think that worked out really well.
Oh, oh no, you're a lifesaver, Kelsey. The Wi-Fi is, I don't know why, in the JDP house. Sometimes it's a hit or miss.
So weird though. Yeah. I mean, I can't say I've never zoomed down there or anything, so I don't know, but I feel like the Wi-Fi on the main campus in general is not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so looking ahead to and thanks for covering me at the beginning too. I just was like doing a bunch of work and then I settled down at 25 and then it was just not good timing at all. So thanks for that. Yeah, so anyway, moving on. For Thursday, how long do you think the activity is going to take?
I'm thinking it might take a while, especially for the younger ones.
Yeah.
At least 10 minutes for them to like assemble everything.
Yeah. Maybe longer, honestly.
Maybe 15 for them too.
Yeah, that's
If they
fine.
have.
The
Yeah.
only thing that we're missing right now, I think the slides are awesome. I think probably we can hide some of the other slides. So we can go up to just the idea of nanoparticles and how they're used, which is fine. But then I think, yeah, maybe have a little bit more of a thought. Like I think maybe the Raman topography imaging, we could use that.
Oh,
This is another example of imaging, which I think is a great transition from so I think I'm gonna skip these ones and we'll use them in case we have extra time. The Raman topography is awesome. I think the only thing that's missing is maybe a few slides explaining kind of what the students are seeing from the Raman. You know what I mean? Like what is it? You know, like kind of how we had the slide today with the donut and the nanoparticle. Just a slide that's kind of linking it back to the science. I think that's the only thing. What do you think?
Yeah. I was talking to Dr. Z earlier too today. And since Rama is so complicated too, she recommended me maybe not to introduce them to the subject as a whole.
To Raman topography?
Yeah, just
Okay.
taking it out. And then editing the activity, just I'm gonna edit the name instead of saying Rama, introduce them more as biofluorescent.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to make those edits, I think that would be amazing. I think we can really take our time with that activity and make it the bulk of the lesson. So I think it can be longer than 10 minutes, no problem. I just think that just one explanation slide afterwards explaining what the students are seeing. Like, just like with text or with images, like, explaining like this is the machine, these are supposed to be the cancer cells, the light is like part of the machine, just explaining the different parts of the activity. Make sense?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I'll probably let me take a picture too of what the machine looks like and just compare it side to side maybe with the
Yeah, that's a great idea. And I think also you already have images there, so you could literally just add arrows and labels to the image.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep, and so take out the nanoparticles, the
I just
dimension stuff.
realized I think I'm still live streaming right now.
Oh,